with the Thai villagers a lot in Thailand. What do you feel and what do you know about the villager or the grassroots people in Thailand?
I'm going to speak in English.
Yes.
I mean, I would say that the villagers and the grassroots people and the students actually know more about freedom and democracy than the people in Bangkok do.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the ones that are fighting on the ground. The villagers that we work with, especially, I spent a lot of time up in Nanambong village and in Wang Sapun in Jangwat Lui, or in the province of Lui. And the villagers there didn't sign up to be activists. They never wanted to be activists. They were farmers, and that's what they were for a long time, and that's what they wanted to be. And the fact that the government and the companies have come in, and the government has allowed the companies to destroy the land, to not let the villagers voice their opinions about what's happening in their communities. They had to step up, and they had to become activists. And in doing so, they gave themselves empowerment. They gave themselves power to speak up. And working with these student groups, they've learned a lot from the students, and the students have learned a lot from them. And it's, to me, that's what democracy is. You're working with each other. You're not saying like, oh, okay, the companies are allowed to come in and do whatever they want. So I would actually say that the villagers know more about that than the companies and the elites in Bangkok, because they're on the ground fighting for it every day. They're fighting for democracy. They want their right to speak up, and they want their right to organize. So I would say they know more about it than they do.
Right. Rachel, maybe I add more another question, and you can, answer the same question that George answered that. What do you think about the democracy in Thailand?
That's a very complicated question because democracy looks very different in every country.
Yes.
And each type of government. I think with Thailand, it's especially unique with a constitutional monarch. The U.S. doesn't have a monarchy, and so it plays out very differently. But I think, I think it's the right thing to do for Thailand to strive towards democracy. I think everyone has a different view of what that can look like. I don't think personally that the U.S. has the best model.
Yeah.
We don't have it figured out, but I'm not sure that any country does. But I can say that going towards the direction of a military dictatorship is not the right way. I think the most important thing is that people have their voices heard.
Yeah.
They can see where they don't have those freedoms and where they don't have those rights because it's been taken away from them.
I mean, the military government or junta government, they say, or they blame us, or they blame the people who against them, that you have been used by the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra.
Really, I think it's crazy to think that everybody is being supported by Thaksin. No, that's not. It's frankly not true. These people have opinions. These villagers, these students have voices, and they're allowed to step up against a government that they don't think is right. And I think for the government to tell the common people, to tell people that may not have a side or may not have an opinion in the matter, that the students are being supported by Thaksin, I think that creates this institute of, or I guess the system that's false. They don't have. I don't think they have any proof to say that the students are being supported by Thaksin or the villagers are being supported by Thaksin. And actually, in a lot of villages, they don't like Thaksin. They don't support Thaksin's views. And I think just because you say that you want democracy and freedom doesn't make you one side or the other. It doesn't make you a yellow shirt. It doesn't make you a red shirt. It doesn't make you a particular party. It makes you a human that wants rights for people. And I think that's what the villagers strive for right now, and I think that's what the students are striving for. They want rights for people. It could be people. They want rights for the elites as well as rights for the common people.
And do you know him, Josh? Did you know Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra?
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but I know about him. Yes.
What do you think about him?
I guess I have mixed feelings. I don't like politicians, because I think oftentimes politicians, they try and win over the hearts of the poor, and they try and win over the hearts of the rich as well. And I don't think they often have they don't often have a campaign or a program that works for everyone. You know, it's all about this: how many people can we get on our side? And I don't think that's how you should run your government. I don't think it should be how many people you can get on your side. I think it should be what is needed for the people. You know, and right now in Thailand, it's a centralized government. You know, all of the power is in Bangkok. There is no power in the south and the north and the northeast, especially not the northeast. So I think what he was trying to do was to reallocate that power a little bit. I don't think he went about it the right way at all. And I don't think I think there was corruption within the government, but I think there's corruption within any government, within any politician you've got. But I think what he did was he showed the ordinary people that they do have a voice. And whether or not they agree with him now, and whether or not they agree with his politics, he showed them that, you know, they are smart people, and they can have an opinion, and they can have a voice. And I think that was really powerful.
Do you think many Thai people say Thaksin Shinawatra gonna be the best, prime minister in Thailand if he come back to run the country again? Do you think? What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think Thailand's not perfect. It wasn't perfect before the coup. I don't think it's going to be perfect after the coup. I think it's going to take a lot more people than just one man to come into power and fix everything. I think Thailand really needs to reevaluate its democratic system and its government and who it wants to run the country. And Thaksin may be a part of that. I don't know.
Are you have been sponsored by former Thaksin Shinawatra, Rachel?
No.
Sorry.
No.
And what is okay? In Thailand, we had a coup like 22nd, I think, maybe about around 22nd, 20 something time we had been coup d'etats in Thailand in our history. Do you know why? Why we have so many so many coup d'etats in Thailand? What do you think, Josh?
I mean, in my opinion, I think it's because it has a lot to do with the centralization of the government. I think as soon as people start stepping up and expressing their opinions, there's a coup, because the government and the elite don't want that. They want to be in power because they have this agenda that they want to succeed. And I think, you know, it's sad when your country, or when a country, any country, has to create a coup, or has to, especially a military coup, like has to bring in the military to control the country just because they don't want people's opinions to be heard. I mean, I think that's sad, and clearly it hasn't worked every single time. You know, it hasn't worked up until now. So I don't know, you know, why are we going back in history? Why are we repeating ourselves over and over again when it's not working? You know, that's crazy to me, but I don't know the answer to it.
What about you, Rachel? You have different idea or the same?
Similar, but I think it's unfortunate that Thailand sees a coup d'etat as the only solution when things get out of control. I think there are other ways to handle the things that were going on in May before the coup happened.
But I mean, that would mean that both sides need to work and compromise. And I think, you know, the elites and the government and the military need to hear the students and need to hear the villagers. And they need to come to some kind of conclusion together or solution together. And I honestly don't think that they're willing to do that. I don't think they're willing to give up any kind of power that they have. And so I want to think that the prospects are good for Thailand, but I'm not sure that's the case. I think a lot has to change if they want any kind of civil law to occur in Thailand, or for any kind of good future, I guess.
What about you, Rachel?
I think the first thing that needs to happen is to break the coup. I don't think any significant change will happen with the military dictatorship. And I think Thailand as a people need to realize that this is going to take a lot of time and a lot more energy than they're currently willing to put in to create a good system. I think you look at successful democracies around the world, and they didn't happen overnight. So it could be a long but hopefully optimistic future.
Other point is that I'm not creating. This isn't my agenda that I'm speaking about. This is something that the villagers and the students have taught me about. I didn't go to Thailand to say, oh, this is what you should be doing. This is how you should be doing it. I went to Thailand to learn about what's going on there and to learn about the grassroots movements in that country already. I didn't come in with any agenda, and I didn't come in saying like this is how your country should be run. But I did learn about what the students think their country and how their country should be run, and that gave me the fire to fight with them. And that's why we're doing what we're doing today. It's not because I came in and told them how to run their country. It was because I learned from them about what they wanted and learned from them that they don't have a voice to express what they want. And so I wanted to be that voice or help them express that voice.
And you, Rachel?
Yeah, for me, it's not about whether or not you have a coup or a democracy or a monarchy. I mean, that may be underlaying it, but really it's looking at the fact that the government isn't protecting all of its people's human rights. And like that is something that I think everyone in the world can see. Yeah, just as Jude said.
Right. Thank you so much for doing this for my country and Thai people. All right. ขอบคุณมากครับ สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ ขอบคุณ
ส
ครั
วั
บ
สดีครับ